Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and today I actually am going to be giving you guys my March book haul. In advance, sorry if the next few videos look like I'm just wearing the same outfit and I look the same. I decided I wanted to get a whole bunch filmed so that way I have stuff to put up. It's a little bit easier for me, and I'm hoping I can get a little bit back on track. I've noticed the last couple of months I wasn't putting my videos up in time, and I apologize. I've just had a lot come up, and also mental health wise it hasn't been fun. So I'm hoping that this is going to get me jump started, and I'm really excited to actually show you guys all the different stuff that I've got going on. So our store got a lot of cool titles in lately, and I just could not help myself. I've really have been not trying to buy, but it has been so hard. Especially a lot of these are ones that I've either have been looking at or they're things that have fascinated me. Most of this haul is going to be true crime related. There's also just some really good reads in this pile. So let's go ahead and just jump into it. The first book that I have here is a true crime novel, and it is a case that I've known about already. I've seen a lot of docs on it. I saw the Lifetime movie. I think it was like they did like 3 movies in a big event, and this one is Green River Running Red, the real story of the Green River Killer, America's deadliest serial murderer, and it is by Anne Rule. If you're not familiar with the Green River Killer case, a bunch of prostitutes in, I believe, the Washington area were going missing and then being found up later being dead, and it became a serial killer that was involved, and I believe it was Gary Ridgway, and he was someone who, when you looked at him, you didn't think that he was capable of doing these crimes. It's just really fascinating to me just what happened with this whole case, and it took years to finally catch him. I'm just really excited to read this. I'm curious to see if there's anything that I haven't seen in any of the docs, but definitely one of the most notorious serial killers. I was really excited when we got this in, and I don't know, I just think it's going to be really fun to get into. The next one that I have to show you guys is actually one that I have been looking for so long, and it was a great surprise when I went to go pull some books that I found this and put this on my pile, and that is the Amityville Horror by Jay Anson. The Amityville Horror, if you're not familiar with that one, that was actually a real house that is apparently haunted. It has a very dark past, and people that have either lived in that house or have been in that house have just experienced dark phenomena. So this is supposedly the history about the house, and I believe it does follow a family that did move into it. I do know that there are some rumors that this book is a little bit fibbed, and a lot of this stuff was just kind of embellished to sell books, but I don't know, I'm still excited to read it. I love the cover on this one too. You just definitely get the feel that something bad is going to happen. Amityville Horror 2 was also turned into a bunch of movies. There was the original movie, and then it got remade a few times, so I think a lot of people are familiar with this one. I think this house is up in upstate New York, I believe. I'm so fascinated with horror and just true crime and all that stuff, so this stuff is just perfectly up my alley, and yeah, I'm just so excited to get into this one. Up next, I have this book. This is another one that I've been looking for quite some time. We got a couple copies in, so I knew I had to grab it, and that is The Trial of Lizzie Borden, A True Story by Kara Robertson. This is pretty much following the Lizzie Borden case, and I believe with this one it's really neat because you have a lot of the drawings. This was a map of the time of the city at the time when the murder happened, and I think there's drawings and pictures that are in some of them. So here's a little picture in the corner. Lizzie Borden is another infamous killer, but there's a lot of doubt as to did she or did she not. If you're not familiar with Lizzie Borden, she was a young girl who murdered both her stepmom and her father. And a lot of the docs that I've seen, there's a lot of dark stuff that happened to Lizzie, that her father sexually abused her. I love studying these old crimes and just history in general, so I feel like this is going to be really fun. So this one is technically my last true crime book, but I still have a couple biographies on this pile. But this is another very, very, very famous case, and this was written by one of the prosecutors that was trying to put this woman behind bars, and that is Conviction: The Untold Story of Putting Jodi Arias Behind Bars by Juan Martinez. This is a case that I was familiar with, and recently I've just been watching a lot of stuff about this crime. And if you're not familiar, she murdered her on-again, off-again boyfriend, and pretty much she couldn't just take no for an answer that someone didn't want her. There's just a lot of twists and turns. I feel like this caught on so well because you had so many different elements. There was sex, there was murder, there was a wealthy, successful man, a beautiful woman, it had a lot of the elements that get people talking. It does have some of like the crime scene photos as well, stuff that they were looking at. I really like reading books where people that were involved with these different trials or just different murders or anything like that were actually involved. It just kind of gives it more depth than you can see from watching it or researching it. So I think that's what I'm going to get from this, as well as Juan Martinez. He's like one of the best in the field, so I know he's definitely going to be putting a lot of stuff on the table that maybe was not put out to the public. Well, I'm actually going to be taking a break from my nonfiction. I have one fiction book here. It's gonna look something similar to one of my other favorite books, and it is kind of taking place during that time period, but it seems like it's going to be a good read, and it is The Woman of 1,000 Names by Alexandra Lapierre. This looks similar to my favorite book by one of my favorite authors, and that is The Revolution of Marina M by Janet Fitch. So they definitely do have kind of like the same look to it, but they both do take place during the Russian Revolution in the early 1900s, but this one is a little bit more, I wouldn't say Marina did not have drama to it. It did, but this one is kind of more of like a drama to it. Like I could see this also being a movie as well. I was just kind of reading just to get a little rundown to talk to you guys about this, and I didn't realize this is actually based on a true story of the Mata Hari of Russia. So I've never heard about that. I'm definitely gonna have to do some research. There might even be like some little research notes. This one is it follows a young woman who actually has an affair with a British secret agent, and he ends up getting deported, and she pretty much just has to find a way to navigate, and it's, like I said, during the Russian Revolution, so I know there's going to be a lot of stuff that goes on. I do love that it's really similar to Marina, so I feel like when I get ready to read Marina, I'm going to want to read this then as well, because I'll be in that Russian Revolution mood. The next two that I have on my list are nonfiction books then, and they are biographies. They are both by people that are in the wrestling industry, so I'm really excited to get into this one. I actually have read one of these already, just so you know. The first one that I have here is Positively Unstoppable: The Art of Owning It by Diamond Dallas Page. This one I actually have read. I got an ARC of the ebook, and I absolutely fell in love with this book. It is so inspiring. Diamond Dallas Page was one of the greats to do it in the wrestling ring, and he is actually the creator and founder of his own yoga company. So when he was injured, he found that yoga helped him kind of rehab, and he puts a little bit of twist on it, so it's a little bit different. He calls it DDPY, which is Diamond Dallas Page Yoga. But not only that, he also has nutrition plans and recipes that if people are looking to lose weight, this helps them. And there are a lot of testimonies that love DDPY. I really love this because I was definitely looking for something that was a little bit that gave me confidence, and this book definitely is. So if you're looking for a really good book that's going to inspire you and just make you want to get up and do better for yourself, this is one of the best. And the last book that I have here is actually a companion to one of the other books that I have showed you guys, and it is Under the Black Hat, My Life in the WWE and Beyond by Jim Ross. Jim Ross, or good old JR, is one of the most famous wrestling commentators. The second part to his book Slobberknocker, which I have, and I haven't read any of these ones yet. So this is just pretty much going into, I believe this one's more of a little bit, not like an expose, but he peels back a lot of the layers of what was going on when he used to work for WWE. He is now a commentator for AEW. I'm very intrigued to get into it. A lot of people said this is a good read. My boyfriend read the, actually listened to the audiobook and loved it. So I was really excited when we got this in. I had to get a copy of it. Well guys, there you have it. That is my March book haul. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope there was a couple reads there that you didn't know existed and now you want to go and get a copy for yourself. Like I say all the time, if you read any of these, let me know how it was, what your opinions were, anything that's similar to what I have here that you think I would enjoy. I love getting people that tell me books that they love and giving me suggestions. It's always something I look for, and I put it on like my Goodreads list. So I always like having options, especially when I'm in a certain mood. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!